The massive alien ship, Serene Harmony, glided through space toward the small blue planet called Earth. Ambassador Kixtal stood on the bridge, his tall gray figure reviewing the mission files one last time. This was supposed to be routine. He had done this 47 times before with other planets. The process was always the same. Approach the planet, contact the most advanced government, follow diplomatic protocols, and either welcome them to the galactic community or mark them as not ready yet. Kixtal had never failed a first contact mission. The Zephyrians were known throughout the galaxy for their perfect diplomatic records. They were calm, logical, and always knew exactly what to expect from new civilizations. Every species they had encountered followed predictable patterns. Leaders would step forward. Governments would respond with careful, measured statements. There would be fear, respect, maybe even worship of their advanced technology. Earth should have been no different. The ship's computer had already identified the most technologically advanced regions of the planet. Seoul, South Korea showed high levels of digital connectivity and technological infrastructure. It seemed like the perfect place to make contact with Earth's leadership. Kixtal activated the Universal Greeting Protocol, a carefully crafted message designed to announce their peaceful intentions to the planet's most important officials. But instead of reaching government buildings or military headquarters, their signal was picked up by someone completely unexpected. A convenience store security camera suddenly activated, and Kixtal found himself looking at a young Korean man sitting behind a counter. The human appeared to be in his 20s, wearing a simple hoodie and jeans. He was casually slurping noodles from a plastic cup, completely unbothered by the fact that a massive alien spacecraft was trying to communicate with him. "Oh, you're the aliens everyone's been talking about online," the man said between bites, not even looking up from his ramyeon. His name tag read Woo Jin. He seemed more interested in his instant noodles than in making history as Earth's first human to speak with extraterrestrial life. Kixtal's translator worked frantically to process the casual tone. This was wrong. All wrong. Where was the fear? The awe? The careful diplomatic language? Instead, this human was treating them like old friends dropping by for a chat. "Cool ship," Woo Jin continued, finally glancing up at the screen showing their massive vessel hovering in Earth's atmosphere. "You hungry? I've got extra noodles here. This convenience store never runs out of ramyun. Pretty good stuff too, though I bet you guys have some crazy space food up there." Kixtal stood frozen. In all his years of diplomatic service, no species had ever offered him food during first contact. Most civilizations were too terrified or too formal for such casual gestures, but this human was acting like hosting aliens was just another Tuesday evening shift at work. Things got worse when Woo Jin pulled out a small device and started pressing buttons on it. "Mind if I stream this? My followers are going to flip when they see actual aliens. Oh wait, I should probably warn you guys about something. Once this goes live, you're probably going to get a lot of messages. Koreans are really friendly people, maybe too friendly." Before Kixtal could object, Woo Jin had already started broadcasting their conversation to something called social media. Within seconds, the stream had thousands of viewers. Within minutes, it had millions. The Zephyrian communication systems, designed to handle official governmental responses, suddenly exploded with incoming messages from individual humans all across the planet. A woman named Ji Hai sent a video message offering to teach the aliens how to make kimchi. "You guys probably eat weird space food," she said cheerfully, "but Korean food will change your life. I can show you how to ferment vegetables properly. It's really good for your health." Someone called Tae-ho challenged them to online gaming competitions. "I bet I can beat aliens at StarCraft," he typed rapidly. "You guys might have advanced technology, but do you have Korean gaming skills? Let's find out. I'll go easy on you for the first few matches." A skincare enthusiast named Hyojin flooded their systems with questions about alien beauty routines. "Your skin looks really smooth in the videos," she wrote. "Do you guys use moisturizer? What about sunscreen? Space radiation must be terrible for your complexion. I have some great product recommendations." Kixtal watched in growing horror as thousands of individual humans treated first contact like a social media event. They weren't afraid. They weren't respectful. They were treating his advanced alien civilization like new internet friends to chat with. Some were asking for selfies. Others wanted to know if aliens liked K-pop music. A few were already making jokes about alien technology being less advanced than their smartphones. The diplomatic protocols that had worked perfectly for decades were completely useless here. Earth's response to superior alien visitors was to offer them snacks and invite them to online gaming sessions. Ambassador Kixtal realized he needed to salvage the situation quickly. The casual convenience store encounter with Wu Jin had spiraled completely out of control, and now millions of humans were treating First Contact like some kind of entertainment show. He decided to follow proper diplomatic channels and requested formal meetings with Earth's governmental representatives. Finally, some progress. Official representatives from various Earth nations agreed to meet aboard the Zephyrian vessel. Kixtal felt relieved as he watched properly dressed humans in business suits boarding his ship with briefcases and official documents. These looked like real diplomats, not convenience store workers eating noodles. But his relief was short-lived. The meeting room filled with representatives from different countries, and immediately they started arguing among themselves. The Korean delegation wanted to discuss trade agreements for their entertainment industry. The American representatives kept talking about military cooperation. The European Union officials brought up environmental concerns and climate change treaties. While Kixtal tried to moderate the discussion and explain basic galactic community principles, chaos erupted around him. A young woman named Subin, who apparently worked as some kind of government social media coordinator, sat in the corner rapidly typing on her phone. She was broadcasting live updates about the meeting to millions of followers. The alien ambassador just face-palmed. Subin typed quickly. "Do aliens even have palms? His hand thing is covering his face thing." The American guy is now showing PowerPoint slides about military budgets. The Korean representative just pulled out samples of K-beauty products. This is better than any drama series. Things got even stranger when a man named Jun Ho, who seemed to work in some kind of catering capacity for the government, kept interrupting the serious diplomatic discussions to offer food to everyone present. "Has anyone eaten yet?" Jun Ho would ask every 20 minutes, appearing with plates of Korean fried chicken, kimchi, and various side dishes. "Mr. Ambassador, you look thin, very thin. Do aliens eat chicken? This is premium chicken, raised on organic farms. Very healthy for brain function during important meetings." Kixtal watched in amazement as human officials would pause mid-sentence about nuclear treaties to grab pieces of fried chicken. The Chinese representative was simultaneously discussing space technology sharing agreements while teaching the Japanese delegate how to properly eat kimchi. The entire formal diplomatic process had somehow turned into an international potluck dinner. During a break in the negotiations, Kixtal retreated to his quarters to process what was happening. He decided to monitor human communication networks to better understand their response to first contact. What he discovered made everything even more confusing. Instead of the expected fear, reverence, or even healthy respect for obviously superior alien technology, humans had created thousands of jokes and memes about the Zephyrians. His own elongated head had become the subject of countless humorous images across their internet. One popular image showed his face with text reading, "When you travel light years across the galaxy, but Earth's Wi-Fi is still faster than your spaceship's internet connection." Another showed him looking confused with the caption, "Alien ambassador discovers humans have been preparing for space contact through video games and anime." The jokes weren't mean-spirited or fearful. They were treating him and his advanced civilization like friendly neighbors who had just moved into the galactic neighborhood. Humans were making fun of aliens the same way they made fun of their own politicians, celebrities, and daily life situations. But the most bewildering incident happened when Kixtal was reviewing security footage from around his ship. Somehow, a Korean military recruiter named Dong Woo had not only gained access to the highly secured Zephyrian vessel, but had actually set up a presentation in one of their conference rooms. Dong Woo had prepared a full recruitment pitch, complete with slides and videos, explaining why the Zephyrians should consider joining Earth's military forces instead of the other way around. "Look, we've been training for space combat for decades. Dongwu explained enthusiastically to confused alien crew members. StarCraft tournaments have taught us superior micromanagement skills. We can control hundreds of units simultaneously, while managing resources and executing complex strategies. Our professional gamers have reaction times that would make your pilots look slow. He showed footage of human esports competitions, where young people moved their hands at incredible speeds while managing complex real-time strategy games. This is training, Dongwu insisted. We've been preparing for intergalactic warfare through competitive gaming. Plus, we have excellent benefits packages, and our military food has improved significantly in recent years. The Zephyrian crew sat in stunned silence as this human military recruiter seriously suggested that their advanced alien civilization could learn superior combat tactics from people who played video games professionally. Dongwu concluded his presentation by offering Kixtal a recruitment brochure and asking if any aliens were interested in joining the Korean military's new Intergalactic Defense Division. He seemed genuinely disappointed when Kixtal politely declined, explaining that advanced civilizations typically didn't enlist in primitive planetary defense forces. By the end of the day, Kixtal realized that humans operated on completely different logical frameworks than any species he had ever encountered. They treated superior alien technology as inspiration for jokes, formal diplomacy as opportunities for social media content, and first contact as a chance to recruit aliens into their own military forces. Ambassador Kixtal felt completely lost. The formal diplomatic meetings had turned into food festivals, and human social media was treating his advanced civilization like comedy material. He decided that maybe the problem was a simple misunderstanding about human culture. Perhaps if the Zephyrians demonstrated their superior civilization properly, humans would finally show appropriate respect and understanding. He organized a formal cultural exchange program. This was standard procedure for integrating new species into the galactic community. Advanced civilizations would showcase their achievements in science, philosophy, and social organization. The primitive species would observe, learn, and gradually adapt their societies to meet galactic standards. The Zephyrians prepared their best presentations. They demonstrated their advanced meditation techniques, showing how their minds could achieve perfect harmony and focus for hours at a time. They displayed mathematical concepts that solved complex problems across multiple dimensions. They explained their social systems, where conflicts were resolved through logical discussion and every citizen contributed to society's greater good. Kixtal felt confident as he watched his crew present thousands of years of advanced civilization development. Surely now the humans would understand the vast gap between their chaotic society and true galactic sophistication. But the human response was not what he expected. An energetic young man named Hyunwoo stepped forward to represent human culture. "That's really cool," he said about the Zephyrian presentations. "But let me show you what we consider advanced human achievement." What followed defied every law of logic and safety that Kixtal knew. Hyunwoo introduced something he called extreme Korean challenges. He set up a table with various bowls of what appeared to be food, but the smell alone made the Zephyrian environmental sensors trigger safety warnings. The red paste in the bowls registered heat levels that could cause serious tissue damage. "This is gochujang mixed with extra peppers," Hyunwoo explained cheerfully. "The goal is to eat as much as possible while singing karaoke and playing mobile games at the same time. It's about multitasking under extreme stress conditions." Kixtal watched in horror as Hyunwoo began consuming the dangerous substance while simultaneously belting out what sounded like emotional songs in Korean and rapidly tapping on a small screen device. Tears streamed down his face from the spice levels, but he continued all three activities without stopping. "The key is mental discipline," Hyunwoo explained between songs, his voice slightly strained but still enthusiastic. "We train our minds to handle multiple extreme challenges simultaneously. Physical pain, emotional expression, and rapid decision-making all at once." When Kixtal's science officer pointed out the obvious health risks and questioned why humans would voluntarily subject themselves to such torture, Hyunwoo just laughed. "This is just Tuesday for us," he said, wiping sweat and tears from his face while achieving a new high score on his mobile game. Wait until you see what we do on weekends. There's this thing called Norbang Marathon where you sing for 12 hours straight while eating only spicy food and playing competitive video games. Last month, my friend Jamin did it while running on a treadmill. The Zephyrians exchanged concerned glances. This wasn't cultural expression. This was voluntary self-torture presented as entertainment. Things got even more confusing when a woman named So Young arrived to demonstrate Korean entertainment culture. She had prepared a viewing session of what she called the finest examples of human storytelling and emotional development. So Young enthusiastically showed them Korean drama series, explaining the complex plots with obvious pride. This one is about a woman who travels back in time to prevent her husband's death, but every time she saves him, someone else dies instead, so she has to keep going back to fix new problems. The Zephyrians watched in bewilderment as the television showed humans experiencing impossible situations. Characters regularly overcame certain death through sheer determination. People fell in love despite overwhelming obstacles. Individuals somehow gained superhuman abilities through emotional trauma. And this one, So Young continued showing another series, is about a prosecutor who gets possessed by the spirit of an ancient emperor and has to solve modern crimes while dealing with historical revenge plots. The romance subplot involves reincarnation across multiple lifetimes. Kixtal found himself wondering if humans genuinely believed these scenarios were documentary footage rather than fiction. The stories violated basic laws of physics, biology, and logic, but So Young discussed them as if they were realistic examples of human potential. The important thing is that humans never give up, So Young explained seriously. No matter how impossible the situation, we find a way. Love conquers death. Determination overcomes any obstacle, and there's always a solution if you're willing to sacrifice everything for it. But the cultural exchange reached its peak of confusion when a chef named Kyung-ho arrived to demonstrate authentic Korean cuisine. He had somehow transported an entire outdoor cooking setup onto the alien vessel, complete with open flames, metal grills, and various containers of what appeared to be decomposing organic matter. Korean barbecue is not just food, Kyung-ho announced, proudly. It's an art form, a social experience, and a test of human endurance all combined. He began preparing meat over open flames while explaining the process. First, we marinate the meat in mixtures that have been fermenting for months. Then we cook it over fires hot enough to melt metal. We serve it with vegetables that have been buried underground until they reach perfect decomposition levels. Kixtal's environmental sensors were screaming warnings about toxic gas levels and fire hazards. The alcohol content in some of Kyung-ho's side dishes registered percentages that would be considered industrial solvent on most civilized worlds. When the Zephyrians politely declined to sample the food, citing obvious safety concerns, Kyung-ho's expression changed completely. He took personal offense as if they had insulted his entire heritage. "You think alien food is better than Korean food?" Kyung-ho demanded, his pride clearly wounded. "Fine. I challenge you to a cook-off. Right here. Right now. We'll see whose cuisine is really superior. I'll defend the honor of Earth's cooking against whatever space soup you aliens think is so great." Kixtal realized that refusing the challenge would somehow make the situation worse, but accepting meant participating in what appeared to be culinary warfare, using potentially lethal ingredients. By this point, Ambassador Kixtal had completely given up on following standard diplomatic procedures. The cultural exchange had ended with him somehow agreeing to judge a cooking competition between his own ship's food synthesizers and a human chef wielding fire and fermented vegetables. The Korean barbecue had actually been delicious, though the alcohol content had left several of his crew members unable to perform their duties for the rest of the day. Just when Kixtal thought the situation couldn't get any stranger, a new group of humans requested an emergency meeting. This delegation looked different from the others. They wore expensive business suits, carried professional briefcases, and moved with the confident energy of people who were used to making important deals. Their leader was a middle-aged businessman named Sang-woo, who introduced himself as representing Korea's strategic interests in galactic expansion. He spoke with the kind of smooth confidence that Kixtal had seen in successful traders across the galaxy, but there was something uniquely human about his approach. Ambassador Kixtal, Sang-woo began, setting up what appeared to be a professional presentation system. We appreciate everything that's happened so far, but I think there's been a fundamental misunderstanding about Earth's position in this relationship. Kixtal settled into his chair, expecting another round of human chaos. Instead, Sang-woo launched into what was clearly a carefully prepared business proposal. "We're not here to apply for membership in your Galactic Council," Sang-woo announced, clicking to his first slide. "We're here to offer you a revolutionary partnership opportunity that will benefit both our civilizations." The presentation title appeared on the screen: "Why Korea Should Represent Earth in Space, a Strategic Partnership Proposal." The slides that followed were filled with charts, graphs, and statistics that looked surprisingly professional and well-researched. Kixtal blinked in confusion. This was not how first contact was supposed to work. Primitive civilizations were supposed to humbly request consideration for junior membership in the galactic community, after decades or centuries of cultural development. They weren't supposed to arrive with business proposals treating advanced alien civilizations as potential business partners. But Sang-woo was just getting started. "Let me introduce our Chief Strategy Officer, Yoon-ju," Sang-woo said, gesturing to a sharp-looking woman who stepped forward with her own stack of documents. Yoon-ju began explaining their qualifications with the kind of confidence usually reserved for people who had never heard the word impossible. "We rebuilt our entire country from nothing in 50 years, she stated matter-of-factly, showing before and after images of Korea's transformation from war-torn nation to technological powerhouse. "We went from being one of the poorest countries on Earth to a global leader in technology, entertainment, and innovation in less than 2 generations. She clicked to the next slide, showing cultural export statistics. "We export entertainment. That makes the whole planet cry. Korean dramas are watched by billions of people worldwide. Our music industry has fans learning Korean just to understand the lyrics. We've somehow made the entire world emotionally invested in our stories." Kixtal had to admit the numbers were impressive even by galactic standards. Few civilizations managed to export their culture so successfully to other species, let alone across their entire planet. But Yoon-ju wasn't finished. "We invented delivery systems so efficient we can get hot food anywhere in 30 minutes even, to the top of mountains or remote islands. Our logistics networks are so advanced that we can deliver anything, anywhere, almost instantly. Space logistics should be easy compared to navigating soul traffic." She showed videos of delivery drivers navigating impossible terrain, using motorcycles, drones, and even helicopters to ensure customers received their orders on time. "If we can deliver fried chicken to a hiking trail in the middle of winter, we can certainly handle interplanetary shipping." The presentation continued with what Yoon-ju called soft power metrics, measurements of cultural influence, technological adoption rates, and something called global trend-setting capacity. The humans had apparently been tracking their influence on other nations and were presenting it as evidence of their readiness for galactic leadership. But the most confusing part came when they started showing video evidence of humans achieving what they claimed were impossible goals. The footage showed people overcoming incredible obstacles through what they termed Han and Jong. Kixtal's universal translator struggled with these concepts. Han seemed to involve using historical suffering and emotional pain as motivation for extraordinary achievement. Jong appeared to be about forming deep emotional connections that created unbreakable community bonds and mutual support systems. The videos showed individuals and groups accomplishing things that violated probability calculations, students studying 20 hours a day for years to pass impossible exams, entire communities rebuilding after disasters through voluntary cooperation, people creating global cultural phenomena from nothing but determination and creativity. "This is our competitive advantage," Yoon-ju explained. "We don't just solve problems logically, we solve them emotionally, culturally, and socially. We turn obstacles into opportunities and impossibilities into achievements." When Kixtal protested that their approach seemed chaotic and unpredictable, compared to established galactic methods, a younger man named Jin Ho stepped forward with a grin that somehow managed to be both friendly and slightly intimidating. Chaos is just another word for creativity, Jinho replied confidently. Your galactic civilizations have probably been doing things the same way for thousands of years, right? Same procedures, same protocols, same results, but we've been innovating constantly. We turn problems into games, challenges into entertainment, and impossible situations into opportunities for growth. He pulled out his phone and showed them footage of Korean esports competitions. Plus, we've been practicing space strategy through gaming for decades. Real-time strategy games, resource management, fleet coordination, tactical planning. We've been training for galactic civilization without even knowing it. Our professional gamers can manage more complex operations than most military commanders. Jinho's expression became more serious. We're not asking to join your system. We're offering to improve it. You've got the technology, we've got the innovation. You've got the experience, we've got the adaptability. Together, we could accomplish things that neither of our civilizations could achieve alone. Kixtal stared at the human delegation, realizing they were completely serious about treating his advanced alien civilization as equals rather than superiors. They genuinely believed they had something valuable to offer beings who had mastered interstellar travel and galactic diplomacy. 3 months after the most chaotic first contact in galactic history, Ambassador Kixtal sat in his quarters staring at a blank report form. How do you explain to the most advanced civilizations in the galaxy that a species offered you instant noodles during first contact, challenged you to video game competitions, and then proposed a business partnership as equals? His final report to the Galactic Council became the most widely read document in interstellar diplomatic history, not because it was successful, but because it was completely incomprehensible to every advanced civilization that read it. Humans operate on principles that appear to violate all known standards of rational behavior. Kixtal wrote carefully, trying to find words that wouldn't make him sound completely insane. Yet somehow they consistently achieve results that our most sophisticated computer models calculate as impossible. He described how humans had treated first contact with a superior alien civilization like a social media opportunity. Instead of fear, reverence, or even basic caution, they had live-streamed the encounter and turned it into entertainment content for millions of viewers. Within hours, individual humans were offering cooking lessons, gaming challenges, and skincare advice to beings who possessed technology thousands of years more advanced than their own. The report noted that humans viewed superior alien technology not as something to worship or fear, but as inspiration for entertainment content and potential improvements. They looked at his starship and immediately started discussing how it could be modified for racing competitions. They examined his advanced communication systems and suggested ways to make them more efficient for food delivery services. Most bewildering of all, humans consistently responded to overwhelming odds and impossible situations by offering food and asking if anyone wanted to learn their traditional dances. When faced with beings who could destroy their planet with minimal effort, their instinct was to invite them to karaoke parties and barbecue dinners. Their apparent randomness, Kixtal wrote in his most important observation, appears to be a calculated cultural strategy that has somehow worked successfully for millennia. What looks like chaos from the outside seems to be a sophisticated form of adaptability that allows them to turn any situation to their advantage. He included examples of human behavior that defied galactic understanding. A convenience store worker treating first contact like a casual customer interaction. Government officials conducting diplomatic negotiations while sharing fried chicken and live-streaming the proceedings. Military recruiters trying to convince advanced aliens to join their planetary defense forces. But the most disturbing part of his report dealt with what happened after the humans presented their business proposal. Kixtal had expected the Galactic Council to dismiss their ridiculous suggestions immediately. Instead, the Council's Strategic Analysis Department had quietly run projections on human capabilities and potential. The results were terrifying. Every computer model, simulation, and strategic analysis came to the same conclusion. Excluding humans from the galactic community would somehow result in them accidentally taking over significant portions of the galaxy anyway, through sheer determination, creative problem-solving, and their bizarre ability to turn obstacles into opportunities. The projections showed humans spreading across space not through military conquest or technological superiority, but through cultural influence, economic partnerships, and their strange talent for making other species genuinely like them. Their entertainment exports would create emotional connections with alien populations. Their food delivery systems would revolutionize interplanetary logistics. Their gaming culture would somehow evolve into superior strategic thinking. Based on historical patterns, one strategic analyst had noted in a confidential memo, humans appear to accidentally achieve galactic influence through methods that bypass all traditional power structures. They don't conquer civilizations. They make friends with them. They don't impose their culture. They make it so appealing that others voluntarily adopt it. The Council faced an unprecedented decision. How do you deal with a species that treats galactic diplomacy like a casual neighborhood meetup, views interstellar challenges as content opportunities, and responds to advanced alien technology by immediately brainstorming improvements and modifications? Traditional evaluation criteria were useless. Humans didn't meet the usual requirements for technological advancement, social harmony, or logical thinking patterns. But they possessed something that no other species in galactic history had demonstrated: the ability to thrive in absolute chaos, while making everyone around them want to participate in their madness. The final council vote was surprisingly unanimous, though not for the reasons anyone expected. They approved humanity's immediate full membership, not because humans met any traditional criteria, but because every strategic projection suggested that excluding them would be more dangerous than including them. As one council member noted in the official record, if we cannot understand them and we cannot predict them and we certainly cannot control them, perhaps our safest option is to direct their creative chaos toward our common enemies rather than risk having it accidentally directed toward us. The decision was announced through official galactic channels, but humans learned about it the same way they learned about everything else: through social media. Wu Jin, the convenience store worker who had started it all, broke the news to Earth during another live stream while eating ramyeon. So apparently we're in space now, he announced casually between slurps. The aliens said we can join their galactic thing. Pretty cool, I guess. Anyone want to celebrate with some chicken and beer? Within hours, humans had organized galaxy-wide welcome parties, started planning cultural exchange programs, and begun designing modifications for alien technology that would make it more efficient for delivering Korean barbecue across interstellar distances. The galaxy would indeed never be the same. And somehow, despite every law of logic and probability, that seemed to be exactly what it needed. 6 months later, the first human-operated restaurant opened on the Galactic Council station. The waiting list for reservations stretched across 3 star systems, and diplomatic meetings were routinely postponed because council members were too busy learning K-pop dance routines to focus on traditional governance. Kixtal's final log entry simply read, "Mission accomplished, I think, though I'm still not entirely sure what the mission was supposed to be."